the Chase Thomas Podcast. For people who have nothing but time to kill.
That might be right.
Yeah, I just saw it the other day.
But Matt Green, on the flip side, speaking of Tennessee here, Tennessee adds their second portal addition here, Star Thomas, Duke starting running back from this past year. Pretty solid year for Duke. Obviously, Duke went in pretty well here with Malik Murphy and Manny Diaz calling the shots over there in Durham. But it's interesting because it is a situation where Tennessee, it was one of those where it's like Dylan needed to go to the NFL. Like, he had a lot of tread on the tires. He was obviously huge for Tennessee this year, but I don't know how all Vol fans would have felt about this, but from my vantage point, I was like, he's got to go. Like, even if you could pay him a good amount and he could come back and make good money here in one more year, it's like, just, you got to start the NFL clock, especially as a running back. I just think he needed to go. But he would have been really nice.
But if you could have had him back for another year, you definitely would have wanted it.
Oh, no. That's not me. I'm saying, yeah, personally as a fan, but I'm saying, like, if I was talking to Dylan, if I had Dylan on the podcast and I was like, you got to go, man. Like, I couldn't say, like, even if, I don't know, I would just be running backs in particular. I'm just like, you got to go. Like, you got to get.
Because I wonder, like, maybe if you're a superstar, like, your college is gonna pay you a bunch to stay. I don't know what running backs are really making in terms of NIL and sort of that stuff.
Depends on the school. Different schools value the running back position differently.
But yeah, for sure. But it's like, if you're not gonna be a second or like third round pick, then I kind of question, so why are you going pro again? Like, and with running backs, it's like the third or fourth running back drafted could be, 30th overall or like 50th, 80th overall. Like, you really never know how running backs are going to get drafted and kind of how that position, like, that's kind of what I thought about Trevor Etienne. Like, where is Trevor Etienne really getting drafted? Is he going early to be like a fourth round, third round pick? Like,
well, I think it's also about the pensions, because NFL players, I'm looking this up, and I could be wrong here, but
that's fair.
Need 3 credited seasons in the NFL to become vested in the pension plan, it looks like. So that's part of it too. It's just, I don't know. I just think you got to get in there, get in the NFL, get that check, and hopefully get to that second contract if you're a running back. So Derrick Henry's are not the norm. What you're seeing over there in Baltimore and what kind of career he's had is just, he's different, man. So I don't know. I just, to bring it all the way back, I mean, I obviously would have welcomed, and I'm certain Tennessee would have welcomed to have Dylan Sampson back, but he moves on, and you've lost 2 backs in back-to-back years to the NFL. Jalen Wright last year, Dylan Sampson this year, but Star Thomas is a productive guy. You didn't need to go out and get a starter. Like Peyton Lewis, 4-star kid. He was true freshman. He played a lot this past year. He's going to be a good player. You bring back Deshaun Bishop, who's been really solid as a number 2 guy. But there was a situation where you're like bringing in Dwan Morris from Murfreesboro at Powerhouse Oakland. He's a different kind of player. I think he'll have to play just with where they're at body wise, but I also think he could be really good. He has more of that, I think, Jalen Wright type speed that Peyton Lewis and Star Thomas and Dylan Sampson just didn't necessarily have. Just different skill sets. And I think Dwan Morris more of a home run hitter for Tennessee potentially. But all that being said, they needed another body because they like to rotate, and Dylan Sampson and what he was able to carry last season was not going to be the norm. I don't think you can bet on that year over year. I don't think you can bet on Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop being able to withstand that kind of season that Dylan Sampson put together in year 3 at Tennessee. So Star Thomas is a good player, and I think he makes a lot of sense because it's not someone who's going to demand 20 to 25 carries. You're not going out and getting Quinshon Judkins, right? Or Damian Martinez last year of the cycle. You're getting a good player who was productive on a good team last year, and he figure in that kind of Jabari Small role from the last couple of years at Tennessee, where he's clearly not the number 1, but he is going to be a good back and just a good guy to have in that rotation. So if you're able to go into next year where, yeah, the true freshman Dwan Morris, we can get him some snaps we can, but we don't have to, he doesn't have to be in the rotation right away as a true freshman, and he can ease into it. But I think you're okay with a Peyton Lewis, Deshaun Bishop, and Star Thomas trio. It's not going to be the star heavy hitters that we've seen the last 2 years, NFL guys. That's not to say that Peyton Lewis can't get to the NFL and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it'll be year 2, and he'll be a redshirt freshman, and we'll see. So big things coming here on the recruiting front still for Tennessee, but I think it's interesting that Tennessee was able to bring in somebody from the portal at running back they needed to address that position. We'll see if they add another guy in their receiver room, maybe here in the spring window if they don't do it in the winter window. But I don't know. I think it's interesting that Tennessee added a back here and got in a guy in Star Thomas who I think will be pretty solid. Like solid Star Thomas is what I'm going to call him this offseason.
Solid Star Thomas. I think you got to call him Superstar Thomas.
Okay.
I think it'll be interesting to see in Heupel's offense because we've talked all the time about how it just has this perception of being like the fun and gun kind of thing, but it's like no, this wide open offense is built on being able to run the ball first. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with a committee back there next year.
Yeah. 7 TDs last year, 4.1 yards per carry. New Mexico State, he was averaging 5 yards carry both years, but he also can catch out of the backfield, 20 receptions last year, and that should be another nice dimension. But either way, just it'll be a trio. We're back to the rotation. Last year we saw it was the Dylan Sampson show in the backfield. Tennessee is going to be back to rotating at tailback next year.
If I could think of any astronomy terms for star, I would drop it. I don't know, like a dwarf star, like all those names. I can't think. I don't know what any of them are called, so I can't make a pun. But it's there.
The Sports Renaissance woman is all about stars and astrology and all that. I should ask her, but I'm not. I don't know really anything about stars, moons, all that kind of stuff. It's not my jam.
Yeah, not my jam. But also the update on Jared Curtis, his final 6 are Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, Auburn, and Ohio State. And then the officials he set so far are Oregon, Georgia, and South Carolina for the month of June.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Matt Green. Well, let's dive into our Notre Dame, Ohio State college football playoff national championship, the first 12-team national championship game between the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Ohio State Buckeyes, where the Buckeyes are 8-point favorites. Matt Green in Atlanta. The tickets are through the roof.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.